Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started today. My name is Melissa Martinez. I'm the Executive Director for Public Relations here at EPISD. We're so excited to welcome everyone here today. Thank you for coming to us today for this groundbreaking opportunity where we are making 21st century learning a reality and commonplace for our students. First, I'd like to recognize some of our leadership here today. We have our superintendent, Mr. Juan Cabrera. Our Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Yvonne Durant, is in the back of the room, as well as Deputy Superintendent Dr. Tom Miller in the back of the room. Our Interim Associate Superintendent of Human Resources is back in the corner, Ben Sheffield, hiding back there. And our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Marianne Clark. Tim Holt, Director of Instructional Services. And I'd like to welcome some very special guests today from the CK12 Foundation. We have Executive Director Neeru Khosla and Chief Technology Officer Miral Shah. Where is Miral? Here he is right here. And also I'd like to take a moment to recognize our high school principals who are here today. If you'll take a moment and stand for us. Really exciting to have them here since we are starting this project with our high school students. And as I mentioned, our very special guests today, CK12 Foundation. Ms. Khosla is not only the Executive Director, but co-founder of the nonprofit organization. CK12 Foundation provides free K-12 learning materials all over the world, and this initiative wouldn't be possible without them here today. Offering digital textbooks in our classroom all began with an idea Mr. Cabrera had to put technology in the hands of our students. So with that, I'm going to turn the program over to him, and he'll explain a little of the project to you.
Thank you, Melissa. Welcome. I was commenting to somebody, this is our first press conference since I've been here. This is, I guess, my 13th month, and before I arrived, we had a number of press conferences for other reasons. So I'm very excited about our first press conference being very positive. I want to tell you a little bit about the story, just a few minutes of how we got here. So back in 2011, the legislature changed the way that they funded textbooks. Previously, before that, they would buy our textbooks and we'd select them. And then we also had a little bit of money in an instructional material fund for technology. In 2011, they greatly reduced those funds that everybody knows, and we were given something called an instructional material allotment to buy textbooks and technology. But with a greatly reduced amount, it was inevitable, at least I saw that it was inevitable. I was working with the legislature then as an attorney, that districts had to immediately look for alternatives. As it's turned out the last few years, I think folks have tried to squeeze by, but there's just not enough money to buy textbooks. So sooner or later, this is not a question of when other districts are going to look at alternatives such as this. They're going to have to, because there's just simply enough money to buy, there's not enough money to buy textbooks. That's the financial side of it. We're going to discuss the many, many other engagement and learning opportunities for kids that digital content offers. But on a pure money discussion, this is the right way to go. But that's just the very tip of the iceberg. There's so many more benefits we'll discuss later this morning. So this past summer, our first summer together as a team, we met with our textbook coordinator, and we had a couple $1 million to spend on science textbooks. And even with that, we weren't going to make it. We got together and we thought, okay, what are our options? One of them would have been digital content. A lot of publishers offer digital content. We thought, well, you know, that's not going to work either. It still wasn't very inexpensive. So we needed to find a partner that could help us create some digital textbooks. I called around to some folks. We called around, did some research, and we picked up the phone this summer and called CK12. They were excited about our initiative, excited to partner with us. We immediately put some plans together. We selected a number of science teachers, innovative, flexible science teachers, because think about it. This is for all of us thinking outside the box and approaching it differently. They worked diligently all summer along with CK12 in a real close partnership to create digital textbooks that meet all of the Texas standards. So from that perspective, they're exactly what you'd get in a paper textbook. But as you'll hear later this morning, there's many, many more benefits that are offered to children. Obviously, the issue is then that we'll launch those officially today. And this is what the great part about it is, this is amazing content, multiple modalities to offer different opportunities to engage children. but the content's free for us. So the money that we were going to use to buy textbooks will now be used to buy devices, and over the next 3 to 5 years, we'll work with our high school principals and their staff to begin to introduce digital textbooks across our core content areas. And then, you know, what we hope that does then is change the way teachers approach how they teach and change the way teachers and students engage in the classroom, maybe a more student-centric approach with this device in their hands. So we don't know the world of possibilities that will open up once we have the device. But at a minimum, we've got the digital content on a device, and for some of those old school folks, we found out last night in visiting with Niru that, you know, it costs us less than $5 to print a whole textbook if that's what people want to do. So we're still flexible. If people feel comfortable with that, we can still do that. Just a couple other points I want to mention. This week alone, we've had 4 Nobel Prize winners. And had we bought the textbooks we were going to buy, they would not be in our science textbooks, but they're going to be with the help of our staff in the next couple of weeks. This summer, we discovered a new planet. That wouldn't have been in the textbooks either because, you know, the textbooks would have already been printed earlier this year. So that's just a couple of small examples of the benefits of having a digital textbook that our teachers can constantly work with and develop and manipulate for their own classrooms. So thank you very much. Before I go on to the teachers especially, I mean, we put the idea in place, but we couldn't have done it without the teachers. And I know that some folks were scared when we started. It was really innovative, it was different. But without our science teachers and our curriculum instruction team, it wouldn't have happened. Very excited about that. And we've got some other great news for the future. Visiting with Michal and with Niru, we found that they have many more ideas for how to utilize open content in the K-12 space and bringing down the cost of education while still increasing engagement and opportunities for content. We've talked about that in terms of other opportunities, so we hope this is just the beginning of a very long partnership together, and that we can work together over the next few years to modernize education and to also bring down the cost of the content. So without further ado, I'd like to give the microphone over to Niru Khosla.
This is very exciting. You know, when I started this, maybe before I started this, I asked the question. I have 4 kids. They were all born within 5 years, for anyone interested. But, so you can imagine how busy I was. But, you know, as an Indian parent, or even as a parent, you have to ask yourself, what can I give my children? And yeah, sure, I can love them. I can give them food. I can give them clothes, roof, a home. But one of the most fundamental things that we can give our children is a good education. And education is about learning and applying yourself. And so I found them a great school, and they thrived in that school. And as they started going through the middle school, I said to myself, now why can't everyone get that same education? Every kid. What's stopping us? That was my journey. That was the start of my journey. First thing I did was, at the age of 50, don't ask me how old I am today, but I went back to Stanford and got another degree. I was a molecular biologist. Stanford, I then got an education degree, and I said, what's the issue? And so that's where CK12 came out of. The idea, how can we use things to scale? So the Trojan horse is, there is a Trojan horse. It is about learning. How do we get that to the students? Our tools have moved from paper and pencil to the new tools, and that's what technology is. They're not ready, but they're getting more and more mature. Now you might ask, okay, so tell us what the Trojan horse is. The Trojan horse is empowerment, both for the teachers and the students. So remember when you tell your students, hey, if you can teach this, you've learned it pretty much. You know what? It applies to the teachers as well. So CK12 started with the idea that we were going to create the tools. And I had a massive fight with my co-founder and my husband, and I said, I'm going to start crying if we don't do content. Because the tool without the actual content is useless. Because then you're going to retrofit everything. So that's why our commitment to tool and technology and content is real. So the content is not just for the teachers, but also for the students. So anywhere the students can partake and be creating their own content and sharing with their own peers. Same with teachers. We want both of them to be lifelong learners. It's not about free. It's about empowering you to do what you have to do. Staying within the requirements. This is why everything is standards aligned. So when I was approached by this great district, I never thought Texas would do it. Okay. I never thought California would do it. Texas is first. Okay, so you win. So we are here, whatever we can do. We are really, really, really thrilled with this partnership. We are here to help you in any which way, and that's our commitment. You won't need it. I promise you, you won't need it. Your teachers who have created this wonderful first step, you will find are going to become stars, and you will see the results. Thank you.
I'd like to... Technology, and I didn't have it on. What's up with that, huh? I'd like to, first of all, just say a little bit about the mechanism that's been put in place that's driving part of this initiative, and then I'm actually going to turn it over to the people who have really done the work and have really created everything for us. When Mr. Cabrera and Mr. Durant came into the district, they had a very sound vision for us, and that was that we would become a collaborative learning community, all of us, not just the children, all of us. That is what education is, it's learning. And one of the first things we've done is re-educate ourselves and transform the way we are doing things here in EPISD. And the best part of this is what we're now doing with CK12, because we are now all working as a collaborative community to really bring the most heartfelt, the best learning to our children, and this is our first step. And I cannot tell you how astounded I've been at the way Tim Holt and Cynthia Ontiveros have worked to put this together. We no longer live in isolation. We're no longer a bunch of little ISDs sitting there by ourselves. We are a true team. Everything we do, we have Mr. Holt by our side. We are all interacting together to try to really address children and children first. So what you're getting ready to learn is exceptional, not just in terms of technology, but in terms of the way this district is moving together as a team. So I would very much want you to warmly give a round of applause to Ms. Cynthia Ontiveros, and then we will hear from Mr. Holt.
Thank you, Marianne. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is an exciting, exciting moment for all of us. At first, we were nervous, didn't really know what to expect, and as we were learning about, the CK12 and incorporating our expertise, the team, which I will introduce just briefly, has come a long way in understanding what this tool can do for us, and we're still learning. And we know that it's not perfect, but it is very close, and we're going to continue working on it and adjusting as we see fit and meeting our students' needs. So I would like to introduce a team who has supported us in many different shapes and forms, and we'll start with our instructional technology team. Mr. Clay White, if you could please stand. We also had Sharita Martin, He's not here. Mr. Brian Grenier. And remain standing. We have our teachers. I'd like to start with our biology team is Mr. Louis Vasquez from Coronado High School. Blanche May Janelle from Austin High School. Next is our chemistry team. We have Jessica Favela from Andress High School. We have Christy Pasillas from Austin High School. And now our physics team, we have Matthew Wright from Coronado High School. And Brian Gillis from Coronado High School. We have one other member who could not join us today, but Marlena Honholt from Andress High School as well. And so our teachers helped put the content in and put it in a shape and form that mirrored our curriculum. And so it will not be a surprise to teachers because it follows exactly what we have been implementing. But we have a wonderful group of editors who helped us with formatting, helped us keep our book looking pretty, being consistent, and helping us with that. So we have Deanne Casey, who is not with us this morning. Thank you. Mario Castañeda. Where's Mario? Thank you, Mario. And also Yolanda Contreras. So this is our team, and let's give them a round room. I'm very, very proud of you all. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I guess now comes the unveiling, which is exciting. I want to thank again the team and the leadership, because without a vision from the leadership, none of this would have happened. And so, and without good teamwork from the teachers and our technology trainers and our editors, any part of that didn't work would have produced a poor result. And also thank the CK12 Foundation, because the CK12 Foundation, even though they're from California, they helped us, not even though they're from, well, you know, we're in Texas, so. They were so helpful, and we would leave them a question, and we would have an answer to that question within hours or no longer than one day. We'd get an answer back, and so that was so helpful when we were trying to put something together. We wouldn't have to wait for an answer. It would just come, and so thank you again for all your help. I want to say this. Right here in front of me is the equivalent of the books that we've produced. And these books, we weighed them yesterday. That's 26 pounds of books that we've created. And we've created books that weigh absolutely nothing. They're all electrons. And so I also want to declare the end of the 50-pound backpack in EPISD. So. So I'm just going to real quickly go over a textbook, and then we have 4 stations set up in the back where our writers and our curators will gladly walk you through their specific physics, biology, IPC, or chemistry book. But I just want to let everyone know that these books are available online right this minute for anyone. They're published. It's not just an EPISD thing. When we hit that publish button, we publish them to the world. And so that's an exciting thing too, because now any district in the state of Texas can use these TEKS-aligned textbooks if they wish. Any school district anywhere can use our books if they wish. And so if you go to ck12.org and just type in EPISD, our books will pop up. Now, one of the neat things about these books is that, I'll just pop one up here. This is the chemistry book. Is that if you were to print these out, it would look very similar to a regular textbook. And so teachers and students wouldn't necessarily be out of sorts by looking at this. But what's neat about all of these books, I'm going to click on chapter 3 in our chemistry book, Atoms and Electrons. So you can see that they have typical pictures and text, and then they have sections that go with that. But what's neat in our textbooks, these CK12 textbooks, that a typical paper textbook doesn't have, is that we've aligned these to us. We've aligned these textbooks to our curriculum. We've aligned these textbooks to the way we teach. And so instead of EPISD having to adapt to a textbook, we did it the other way around. The textbook adapted to us. And so when Niru was talking earlier about empowering the teachers and empowering the students, what she meant, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, what she meant was that these textbooks, once we've created them, a teacher can now take that textbook and then adopt it to the way they teach. So say, for instance, a teacher is teaching about cathode rays and doesn't like that particular image that's in there for a cathode ray. If the teacher likes a better image in their textbook, they can replace it with a better image that suits their needs. They are not stuck with the textbook the way we wrote it. Now, the EPISD textbook stays the same, but the individual teacher can adapt it. They can keep it exactly the way they want. They don't have to do anything to the textbook if they don't want to, but they can add things to the textbook and edit it the way they want, which is very, very exciting and very, very empowering to the teacher. And so our textbooks, not only like a traditional textbook, also have, graphics and visuals, but you can also see that they have built-in interactives and videos as well. I won't play this, but you can pretty much tell that that's a YouTube video there. So our students are getting interactive quizzes, interactive simulations. Our students are getting videos. These are all things that cannot be done in a paper textbook. These are all things that cannot be shown to students, and they're all put in a single place. Teachers no longer have to go out and look for all these different resources. They're all written right into the textbook. Teachers can also flip their classroom learning. They can ask their students to go in and look at something at night, come back and then teach that concept, reteach that concept, and teach for deeper understanding in the classroom the next day. That's something that's very exciting as well. You can also see that it might be a little bit hard to see, but in this particular example, when they're talking about cathode rays, there's not only a video right there about cathode rays experiment, the original cathode ray experiment that is done, but then there's also a video here that explains modern cathode rays. So you can see that there's lots of interactivity. Students can actually, when they make their little account and they get the book, they can highlight their book. They can take notes within the book itself if they wish to. They can do that in a traditional textbook, but but the person coming up next year would probably get upset because they have to share that textbook. In the CK12 textbooks, once that book is that student's, it stays with that student forever. And so that student takes biology this year. They have that book until they're done, even beyond when they're done with high school, and they can go back and they can revisit concepts. And a teacher can go back and say, hey, I bet you learned something in the biology textbook 3 years ago that kind of applies to this, what we're talking about now. Why don't you go back and look? You can't do that in a traditional textbook setting. They'd have to go down to the book room, recheck out a book, and they can't do that. The way that it's currently set up. And so these are very, very exciting times. These are very, very exciting things. I'm not going to go way deep into it, but suffice it to say, these textbooks, the digital textbooks, are superior to what we've been doing before. And it's a better learning experience for our students. It's a better teaching experience for our teachers. Our parents can access these 24 hours a day. They can look at exactly what our students are learning. If a student cannot forget to bring their book home, because the book is anywhere, and the book works on any device. It can work on any internet-connected device, and if the student doesn't have internet, we can get them the PDF version of that book. So I thank you all for coming out today. This is exciting. I'm excited, and I hope that you will go around and look at the hard work that our teachers have done and the exciting books that we've put together for you. So thank you very much.
As Tim mentioned, the teachers will be available if you see the screen, so please stick around and take a look at their demonstrations. But with that, that concludes our press conference. We just have a little gift for Ms. Kosla here, a little taste of El Paso for her to take back to California. It's got some El Paso Chihuahua gear, some UTEP homecoming, a beautiful book of El Paso photography. We couldn't leave out the L&J salsa. Some Bowie Bakery is in there. Some of our most favorite treats here. So thank you so much for being here with us. And with we will make it work for you so you can take it home. So with that, that concludes our press conference this morning. Thank you so much again. Please stick around and hang out with the teachers. They will be showing off their wonderful books. Very nice.